Hello, welcome back to Whisky Wednesday. Another Wednesday, another whisky review with me, Joe. So, this week I am reviewing the Glen Elgin 12-year-old. So I said last week I'll be reviewing another obscure Speyside distillery. And although Glen Elgin is probably a little more well known than Cappadonic, it is still a fairly low-key distillery when you compare it to the other Speyside single malt. So pour out a nice dram. So Glen Elgin is a Diageo-owned distillery. Pretty much all of it is produced for the J&B blend. This is the only official single malt they release to the kind of actual general market. They do an occasional special release, but these are really hard to come by. So there's like a 32-year-old kind of decanter type bottle a couple of years back. And at the distillery they have a manager's dram, but obviously then you have to go all the way to the distillery in Scotland to get it. So it's 43%. It's a Speyside single malt Scotch whisky, handcrafted, and it's a lovely, rather lovely burgundy box, which kind of matches my shirt quite nicely as well. Let's get straight to the nose. Lovely kind of golden colour to it. Ooh, beautiful. Okay, the first thing you notice, it's quite kind of milky. It kind of feels kind of fudgy, milky. And then definitely some sherry cask aging. Kind of reminds me of something like Glenfarclas, that kind of slight sherry influence. Extremely, extremely malty. And that seems a bit silly saying that, but obviously it's a single malt whisky. They use malted barley as the grain to produce this whisky. But it does smell that kind of malty smell. It's fruity. It smells sweet. And actually quite raisiny as well. You can really smell that kind of sherry cask raisin note coming through. And again, this will be used as one of the main components in the J&B blend, along with lots of other whiskies. One of the other main components for J&B is Knockhandu. Okay, let's get to the taste. I really, really like this whiskey. It starts off kind of flat, and then very quickly, within about 2.5 seconds, the sherry note really hits you. So it's lovely, warm, kind of bread and butter pudding, that kind of raisiny, kind of fruity cinnamon, that kind of sweetness from the bourbon cask, those vanillas, those kind of custardy notes, bit of demerara sugar. It really is like kind of bread and butter pudding in whiskey form. Let's give it another try. Again, you can really taste that fruity malt. So I'm getting apples, kind of caramelised pears, a little bit buttery, and the finish is also quite dry, but it's also because of that sweetness from the bourbon cask that they obviously use. It contrasts really, really well. It's a damn shame that Diageo don't do more with this brand, and I really, really wish you would. If anyone from Diageo is watching and that has control over what you guys put out, I would love to see more official bottlings of Glen Elgin. You can get independent bottlings from various places, but it would just be lovely to see Diageo kind of expand the portfolio. Maybe, you know, do a 16-year-old heavily sherried at, you know, 50%, or do an 18-year-old bourbon cask, or just expand the range. Please, guys, do something with this whiskey. One final taste for the finish. It really is. It is bread and butter pudding in whiskey form. That creaminess, the butteriness, the kind of vanillas that come through, that cinnamon spice, and then all that fruit, raisins, a little bit of chocolate, and that kind of dry, spicy finish. I think it's a beautiful whiskey. I think it is really underrated. If you can get hold of it, I think I paid about £45 for this bottle. That was about a year and a half ago. I'm pretty sure it is still available. I would recommend it, honestly. If you like your Speyside whiskies, if you like something sherried, it's almost between a Glenfarclas 10 and a Glenfarclas 15, but not quite as sherried. Honestly, really recommend it, guys. Please check it out. Score-wise, I think that's probably a real solid 8 out of 10. I think it's a fantastic whiskey. Definitely check it out. Let me know what you think. If you've tried it, leave me a comment in the box below, as you guys always do. Please share the video, and I will see you next week for yet another whiskey review with me, Joe. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.